there, welcome back. It's Kylie here from Trucking Support Agency and we're back with Andreas. Captain Logbook is here to tell us what a fatigue regulated heavy vehicle is.
Thank you very much. A fatigue regulated heavy vehicle is essentially any vehicle that has a GVM of more than 12 tonnes, any combination that has a GVM of more than 12 tonnes, or a fatigue regulated bus. So a bus is capable of carrying more than 12 adults.
Okay, and these are the vehicles that require your work diaries.
Yeah. So Chapter 6 of the law, which regulates work diaries, work and rest, and record keeping, applies to the use of fatigue regulated heavy vehicles. There are a couple of examples of vehicles that might be more than 12 tonnes that are not fatigue regulated heavy vehicles. So everyone's favourite topic, motorhomes and caravans, yes, yeah. They're not captured because they're explicitly excluded by law. And the other one can be plant. So sometimes you've got things like backhoes and certain types of cranes, which are not designed to transport goods or people on roads, and those are considered to be outside the definition of fatigue regulated heavy vehicles.
Okay. What are the rules of work and the rules of rest?
The law quite clearly defines what is work time, and that can be any time spent driving a fatigue regulated heavy vehicle, any time spent supervising another person who's driving a fatigue regulated heavy vehicle. It can be any time spent occupying the driver's seat while the engine is running. So you might be in a queue, your engine is running, but you're still responsible for the fatigue regulated heavy vehicle. And then there's another category which is performing any other task in relation to a fatigue regulated heavy vehicle. And that can be things like you might be at a cattle sale yard waiting or looking for business. You might be running a bus, you might be looking after your passengers so that they can, or attracting passengers, or you might be maintaining your truck, or you might be doing things like fueling it or something like that.
Yeah.
So there's a whole range of tasks that you're doing because the fatigue regulated vehicle is going to drive.
So what are the rules of rest?
Quite surprisingly, rest is any time that you have spent which is not working. So if you're not driving, if you're not supervising, if you're not doing any task in relation to the fatigue regulated heavy vehicle, all of that time is calculated as rest.
Yeah.
So in heavy vehicle national law, there's work and rest hours options. You've got standard hours, basic fatigue management or BFM, or advanced fatigue management or AFM. Each one of those has slightly different definitions of, or different flavours of rest. So it's all times that is not in relation to fatigue regulated heavy vehicles. So there's such a thing called night rest in standard hours and basic fatigue management, and that's any time or any rest you have between 10 p.m. on one day and 8 a.m. on the next day. And you have to have a certain number of night rests every fortnight, for example. So the law specifies that. The other thing is, and this is particularly relevant if you do two-up driving, so there's two drivers sharing a driving task, you might have what's called stationary rest. So you actually either have to stop the vehicle, leave it, and rest it, or rest in an approved sleeper berth while the vehicle is not moving. And that's because sometimes that sleep is a little bit more effective than trying to sleep on the bunk, bumping along, the Tanami highway, trying to get from one place to next.
Yeah. And so, what is a major rest break?
A major rest break is defined as any rest break of more than 5 hours in the legislation. Typically, for most drivers, it's going to be a 7-hour break.
Yeah.
And that's a break of 7 continuous hours. So it can't be split up. It has to be, you start resting and you continue to rest for 7 hours, and then you start work.
Okay.
One of the things the work and rest hour options do is they ask drivers, or they require drivers, to have short periods of rest so that they don't get fatigued very quickly. And that's what the short rest break does. It kind of breaks the task up so it's not too monotonous.
Well, thanks for clearing that up. Our next video, we're going to go through and do a couple of examples on a work day and how to fill your workbook out. No worries. Bye for now.